Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of the Beard Owl podcast, the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. We are doing something special in March here. Right, John?
Yeah, and I didn't run this by you, but I'm just going to go for it. We're going to call this the March Weirdness album bracket.
Okay, very good.
Instead of March Madness, March Weirdness.
I like it. It's March Weirdness. This is an album bracket. That's right. A completely subjective album bracket. And to help us go through this completely subjective Weird Al March Weirdness album bracket, we have Mr. Chris Hollister back with us again.
Hey, I'm back on the show. It is so good to see you guys. Thank you so much for having me back on.
This is appearance number...
Trace.
3.
Appearance number what for you? 3?
This number 3. Yes, I did the Hamilton one, and then we did the Weird Al in the media, movies and TVs, which I thought was a fantastic episode. Made Lauren cry. That was a good episode. And then now I'm back to do this, so it's great to be back on. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that she was a crybaby. Got it. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I cry. I cry.
I'm not going to say too much because she might sick Troy on me. So it's okay. Anyway,
no, Troy would just lick you to death.
Oh, see, I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with that too. Yes. So anyway, but seriously, it's great to be back on. Thank you, Carries, for having me back. I really appreciate it. Anything I could do to hang out with you guys, I'm totally doing it. I would be an audience for your shows if I could. I would just listen and just laugh and smile and all that. So anyway, it's great to be back on.
Thank you.
Our laughter wouldn't have to be canned.
No, because the laughter is always canned. Before we jump
just
into
like
our
the salmon
brackets, just like the salmon, canned salmon. Before we jump into our album brackets, John and I do have beers for our brackets. We've got bracket beers, and I got a really
I'll let you crack your bottle there.
Crappy bottle.
I was going to say, it looks like you're having a little bit of trouble opening that bottle. It's not a twisty top.
I did have a little bit of trouble opening the bottle. No.
Jeez, now I'm having trouble opening a can. A can? Having trouble with a can? Here we go.
That is in all fairness, your can is very big. I didn't realize your brother had such big cans.
That's what she said.
Oh my God,
he likes big cans and he cannot lie.
32-ounce growler here.
How many ounces?
32-ounce growler.
Oh my gosh, John!
Did you say crowler or growler?
I just have
with a C, crow.
It's a can growler.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just found out what a growler was for the first time.
Very difficult to pour. I always get a lot of foam on them.
Yeah.
Oh, you just learned what a growler was for the first time?
Like about 6 months ago. Yeah, I legitimately did not know what a growler was before, being the teetotaler that I am. And again, as a teetotaler, I want to say thank you for letting me be on the show, because I do not partake of the adult beverage, but I totally enjoy listening to y'all talk about it. So what's going on with your beers today?
Hey, that's okay.
Show me your beers.
Go for it, Lauren.
Show me your beers. I have a beer that comes out once a year, and you have to drink it fresh. And I finally was able to get my hands on some yesterday. It's Hop Slam from Bell's Brewing in Comstock, Michigan. And
that's a great one.
It's a good beer. It's a double India Pale Ale brewed with honey. And the reason I decided to have Hop Slam with our little bracket challenge today is because brackets tend to usually be about basketball, and slam dunk is a thing. So, Hop Slam.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hop Slam.
That's
dunk.
perfect.
I just, this is how I live. What do you have,
Very,
John?
very cool. Yeah. What's your 40?
I have an offering from my local microbrew called Lanahu Ales. It's a quarter mile from my house. I've talked about them before, I think. I have the Mickey Lima Glove No Fit, because I am ready to take off the gloves and duke it out.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh my.
So
it is a It is an Imperial Double New England IPA.
Oh.
Mickey Lima Glove No Fit is an ode to Breaker Brewing's OJ Simcoe. Breaker Brewing is another brewery that's around here. The aroma without the blood orange puree was incredible. The puree knocked it out of the park.
Nice.
That is what I have about it.
Very cool.
I like it. Good stuff. So here's how this is going to work. John made some brackets with Weird Al's albums, and we've talked on this show before about how before we even started this podcast, we took the time to rank Weird Al's Weird albums, and we also ranked individual songs on the albums, but we're not dealing with that today. So John and I collectively have rankings of the Weird Al albums, the Weird albums. I just like saying Weird albums. So we have these rankings.
Weird albums.
John put a little bracket together, and like I said at the top, this is going to be an extremely subjective bracket, meaning there probably won't be a whole lot of arguing, but there'll be a lot of discussing the albums, and if it comes to a point where we do come up, have a stalemate, that's where Chris comes in, because Chris is going to be managing our little bracket here, and if John and I somehow have a tie or what have you, Chris will make the final call. So
I am the judge, the jury, and the executioner for this bracket.
Yeah.
Be afraid,
the judge, Judy, and executioner?
That's exactly right, yes. I mean, the last time I did a bracket, I put somebody in sports movie hell, so we're hopefully we will not have the same this time around.
Yeah. No, I don't think this is going to be, I don't think anybody's really going to be mad about this. We're just going to have a good time talking about Weird Al's catalog, So
absolutely. As long as Scrubs doesn't come out on top, I think we're okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, the last time I was on a bracket.
I'm fighting.
Was the sitcom bracket.
You. Yes. Well, I'm fighting John right now because I actually was just watching a Scrubs episode before I came on and started recording for y'all. Season 3, Michael J. Fox is on it. I saw you tweeting. Yep. Oh yeah.
Well, I didn't say I didn't like Scrubs. I never said I didn't like Scrubs. I just don't think it's the best sitcom ever.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. I personally think MASH is the just like all good brackets are.
MASH ended up winning that bracket.
Say that again. Yes, MASH ended up winning that bracket as it should.
MASH ended up winning that bracket. So
yes, it did. Yes,
that's
but
totally
Frasier went along a lot farther than you. And Frasier went a lot farther than we thought it was going to because of the power of Lauren Carey. The power.
I fought for Frasier. I have the power.
We're going to see if that power continues on with this bracket right here and how much power she has over her brother John in these decisions. So I'm excited about this. This is going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. The biggest thing with brackets that I could tell you all about, because I've done a few of these podcasts with brackets in it, is just have good takes and do not be afraid to share it. People want to hear what you think. I mean, your podcast is becoming legendary, shall I say. It is becoming legendary.
Yeah.
And because of that, we want to hear your legendary takes.
Niche.
Exactly.
Right.
I love it.
So we've got some legendary takes.
Wait for it.
Dairy.
I
guess we'll start at the top. Our first matchup.
Start at the top. It looks like our first matchup is number 8, our 8 seed in 3D versus our number 9 seed UHF. Chris, take it away.
Yes. Okay. So here's the tale of the tape. In 3D came out in 1984. It was Weird Al's first platinum selling album. If you don't know what platinum means, it means he sold over 1 million albums. And that was in the United States. Some of the classic songs on In 3D: Eat It, King of Suede, I Lost on Jeopardy, and This Is the Life. Then we go into the classic, I love this movie so very much, UHF's official soundtrack, 1989. Oddly enough, did not make gold or platinum status, so it did not make 500,000 sales or 1 million sales, sadly enough. But it had fantastic songs like Money for Nothing, Beverly Hillbillies, the UHF theme, and then Isle Thing. And so here we go. John, what is your take? Dun, dun, dun.
My take is that I think the knock on UHF is that a lot of the tracks on it are just snippets from the movie. And so that kind of brings it down a little bit. The quality of the title track UHF is great. And you've got Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota, which is also great.
Yep.
Top tier song. But I think what pulls the album down for me a little bit is the fact that there's just the movie snippets that kind of take away from the flow of the album. Like, Let Me Be Your Hog. It's a great little snippet. I don't know if it fits on the album.
Yeah, I love
Fun Zone is great, and it's like it plays it at like every concert. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel cohesive to me. Where In 3D has a little bit more cohesion to it, even it only being technically his second album. His first platinum, but his second album he recorded. And it's very cohesive. I think for me, this matchup goes to In 3D.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say this a lot, but John, I'm going to agree with you here for a lot of the reasons that you said. Because I think the UHF soundtrack is it's the UHF soundtrack and other stuff. The two best things about it are the UHF theme and Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota. But then it has She Drives Like Crazy on it, right? Which is garbage. And there's not enough good stuff between the UHF theme and Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota for me to, hey, Bob!
Say hi.
Hi.
In mid-thoughts, she's saying, hey, Bob. In mid-thoughts.
Mid-thought.
Hey,
yeah!
She's trying to make sure you can see me, so.
Awesome!
Okay.
Hi!
Megan.
Okay, because I only see half my face in my... Okay. So no, I'm in. You can hear me. We're all good.
I can see
you.
Yes,
we can see him just fine.
You're perfect.
Okay.
This is great.
That's your chest.
All right. Well, hi.
You're fine.
Yeah, no, we've got you. We've got you. Your whole head and everything.
Yeah, and actually, we've barely started. We're in the first line matchup. Hi. All right. I'm going to pause because I was in mid-thought. We have our other very special guest who just finally joined us here due to the super technological skills of his brilliant, brilliant daughter. We've got Bob Oakes. Hey, Bob.
Woohoo!
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Bob.
Very, very excited to be here. Very, very excited to be here.
Yeah, well, excited to have you. It all worked out for everyone. But yeah, Bob's going to be kind of hanging out, joining part of this conversation. But Bob's going to be the man for the episode that everybody's going to hear next week when we do the polkas. So, oh boy, it's a big time, fun time. Yeah. So anyway, we were talking about In 3D versus UHF, and I'm agreeing with my brother because I think In 3D is a better album. And my hot take on it is, do I have a UHF soundtrack t-shirt? No. Do I have an In 3D album t-shirt? Yes. So I'm going with In 3D.
All right. And with that, In 3D moves on to go against the 1 seed in the second round. And we will talk about that in just a little bit. All right. So our second matchup in the first round, the number 4, Alapalooza versus 13's Off the Deep End. Let's go to the tail of the tape. And Alapalooza, his 2011 album, sadly did not make gold or platinum status. Had fantastic songs like Craigslist, Whatever You Like, Perform This Way, and Party in the CIA. Then you've got Off the Deep End, his 1992 platinum selling album with extreme classics, stuff that's going to go on Greatest Hits album for the rest of the time. Smells Like Nirvana, Taco Grande, and You Don't Love Me Anymore. All right, John, we started with you in the first matchup. So, Lauren, we're going to you in the second.
I just want to take a quick time out there, though.
Yeah.
That just want to take a quick time out. I think you got the wrong album. It's Alapalooza, not Alpocalypse.
Yeah.
You listed tracks from Alpocalypse. It's all good. That can be cut. Just do a retake. It can be cut and edited. Do a retake.
No, it doesn't matter. Actually, because you know what? I'm going to keep that. Because Alapalooza is from 1993 with such classics as Jurassic Park, Living in the Fridge, Frank's 2000-inch TV, so many other. This is the battle of the early 90s Weird Al, right? Because it's Alapalooza versus Off the Deep End. And Chris's little gaff there actually speaks to the forgettability of Alpocalypse, which will come into play later.
Oh boy!
But real quick, let me just tell you this real quick about Alpalooza. It was actually one of his 3 gold albums, so it sold more than 500,000 copies. So Lauren, to you now, and thank you for
20,000 of them.
Oh wow! Did an angel just get its wings? Anyway, and and John, thank you for correcting me on that. I apologize for that major snafu. So
that's okay.
Lauren Carey, take it away.
This is an easy one for me because I got to go Alapalooza. And Alapalooza, I think basically just what I said. It's carried on the strength of Jurassic Park, which I sing along with in the car all the time, and Frank's 2000-inch TV, which I think is almost a perfect Weird Al song. It's one of those Weird Al songs that if somebody asks me, you know, what does a Weird Al original sound like? I'm whipping out Frank's 2000-inch TV because that song is brilliant. And I think coming hot off the heels of Off the Deep End, I think Alapalooza took that shift in his career that Off the Deep End kind of signified, you know, going from the 80s into the 90s with, you know, the Nirvana stuff and all that. It was kind of like phase 2 of Weird Al's career. And I think he started that with Off the Deep End, but he improved upon it, in my mind anyway, with Alapalooza. So I'm giving this matchup to Alapalooza.
So even though Off the Deep End sold better, Alapalooza still is your pick. Is that correct?
It is still my pick. I think it works better as an album.
All right. And to John.
I agree with you there. I think a lot of the tracks on Off the Deep End, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me here. I think a lot of the tracks on Off the Deep End are kind of a bit weak, and it is really pulled. Those sales are probably pulled by Smells Like Nirvana, right? Because Smells Like Teen Spirit was such a big song at the time, and for Al to parody that so closely, Smells Like Nirvana, just make fun of the premier grunge band of the time and just, you know, go ham on it. I think people just really ate that up and were like, yeah, this is going to be really cool. Even the album cover of Off the Deep End is a parody of the Nirvana's Nevermind.
Yeah.
Right? So
that is 100% correct.
I think that's what pulled the sales on Off the Deep End. Alapalooza is again more cohesive album, like you said, with Frank's 2000-inch TV. That's always going to be in my top 10 Weird Al songs that I go to. Jurassic Park is always in my brain whenever I hear MacArthur Park. Yep. Like I was in a band a couple years ago and we were playing MacArthur Park, and in my brain as I'm playing it, I'm singing Jurassic Park. Like I cannot hear, oh, somebody left the cake out in the rain. No, somebody shut the fence off in the rain.
Yeah, someone let T-Rex out of his pen.
Yeah, so no, it's Alapalooza for me. Alapalooza.
All right, so Alapalooza moves on. So Bob, what do you think about that? What do you think about Alapalooza moving on instead of Off the Deep End?
I've got to disagree. I can't disagree more. I have Off the Deep End as one of my top 3 albums. It's so good. There's so many good songs on it. And some of my absolute favorite songs are on there. I love the Smells Like Nirvana. I think it's a great parody. It was fantastic at the time. But You Don't Love Me Anymore on the back of that album is one of the best original songs ever. And I mean ever. If I'm giving somebody a song to say who's Weird Al, that is one of the 5 songs I will give. That's one of the 5 you must hear this if you're a Weird Al fan songs for me. To me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I just
okay, go ahead and defend Taco Grande, the plumbing song.
Well, the way I rated, very similar to the way you rated, is I gave points for each song, and Taco Grande was a 1. And I know it's a 1. It's not one of the better songs on the album. But everything else on there makes up for it. If I'm not mistaken, your first album that you ever heard was Bad Hair Day, correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
I'm a little bit older than y'all. My first album was even worse. So I was well into my Weird Al fandom when we got to Smells Like Nirvana. And after a long hiatus of really great Weird Al stuff, Smells Like Nirvana just hit huge. I remember I was on the... I had every single, it was back in the time of cassette tapes. I know that's probably before your time, but I had every single cassette tape for every Weird Al album at the time. And I was on a youth trip, and we were coming back, and they saw I was listening to Weird Al. And next thing I know, all of my tapes are gone. Everybody on the bus was listening to my tapes and I had everything. I had Polka Party in 3D, the original. I had them all, and everybody on the bus was listening to Weird Al at that point. And it was awesome. off of the Smells Like Nirvana, but off the deep end.
That's fair. I mean, like I said, this is so subjective because Weird Al is such a personal thing. I'm loving the color commentary, even though the brackets are going to go the ways of the carries, but the color commentary
even though you're wrong, Bob.
There's no wrong. Yeah. I don't think there's no right or wrong when it comes to Weird Al.
No. Let's just be honest here. What you're saying is, I appreciate your love, but you're wrong, Bob.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Oh my God.
No, I think what it really comes down to is the source material that speaks to you, right? Rico Suave doesn't speak to me. What else? What else was there on that album? Milli Vanilli doesn't sing to me.
No, they didn't sing to anybody.
I'm not really a fan of New Kids on the Block. Like the MC Hammer song, like I really love that song, but he did so poorly on that parody that I just can't. I can't do it.
I know. It's fine.
All right, so Alapalooza. Anyway, Alapalooza. Yes, Alapalooza moves on. We will invite Bob in for other commentary in a little bit. So your next matchup, if I'm correct, and hopefully this time I am, is number 5, Straight Outta Linwood, versus 12, self-titled original release Weird Al Yankovic. And so here is your tail of the tape on this one. Okay. All right. Thank God. All right. So we actually got 2 gold albums going after each other in this round. So Straight Outta Linwood, the higher seed, 2006. It was a gold album. Had classics. White and Nerdy, actually one of his highest charted songs. Canadian Idiot and Don't Download This Song. As with Weird Al, this is one of the very first albums I personally have heard, because you had Another One Rides the Bus, Ricky, which I loved the video for at the time, and I Love Rocky Road. So, and by the way, my very first Weird Al cassette that I bought was in 3D, so I'm still older than all of y'all. So there is that. All right, so John, talk to me about either Straight Outta Linwood or Weird Al Yankovic.
I think his self-titled was a very good introduction to the parody game for him, because there was he did great with what he had at the time, right? He had My Bologna. Great song. Ricky, great song. He had number of good originals like Mr. Frump and Got a Boogie. But I don't think the strength of that album is as strong as Straight Outta Linwood, because they're coming from two different eras. Where Straight Outta Linwood, he's been doing it for years and years and years, and basically perfected his craft over, what was the time difference between them? Like 20 or 30 years, 30 years?
83 to 2006. So 23 years.
So, like 23 years. So over 23 years, he's improved himself so greatly, and it's included in his rap game, White and Nerdy, right? As we've said on this podcast numerous times, he is one of the great rappers that nobody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
His flow on White and Nerdy is just top notch. And then you move on to Pancreas. There's Close But No Cigar. For me, it's Straight Outta Linwood, hands down.
And John, also, you just before we pass it over to Lauren, also talk about musically he had updated himself so much too. I mean, because again, the first album was very polka-ish. I mean, there really was a lot of accordion being played and whatnot. Whereas 23 years later, he's using all sorts of different albums.
I'm going to go with Weird Al's self-titled debut album in this matchup.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because, John, do you remember when we were talking with Nathan Rabin, the author of The Weird Accordion to Al? What he said really struck a chord with me, in that Weird Al's self-titled debut album is pretty much a punk album. Like, it's raw, it's dirty, it hasn't been completely fleshed out. Like, the points that you made are absolutely salient. They're salient points. But I think his self-titled debut album wins this matchup for me for exactly the reasons why you picked Straight Outta Linwood. Like, yes, he has gotten so much better. And yes, it's more polished. And yes, it's cleaner. But the rawness and the youth and just the energy that's on Weird Al's self-titled debut album is truly something magical in and of itself. It's unlike any other album that Weird Al has, because there's an accordion on every track. Yes, there's parodies, but they're not trying to mimic the instrumentation of the original. You know, you've got Stop Dragging My Car Around with that riff played on an accordion, you know, and the little hand farts in I Love Rocky Road, you know, the little, it's beautiful. So
yeah, I got you.
Debut album is taking this matchup for me. So that means John picked Straight Outta Linwood. I picked his self-titled debut album. So that means, Chris, you have a tie to break.
Actually, Lauren, if it's okay with you, I think we should give it to Bob. Okay,
Bob.
All right, Bob, you get the final word on this. Is Weird Al Yankovic moving on, or Straight Outta Linwood moving on? And then Bob, you disappeared on us. Oh, he's gone. Okay, so it is going to be my decision then. All right. So, you know, I like all the arguments here. I really do. I think both of you guys have strong, solid arguments. What really kind of hit me a little bit was John talking about his improvement musically. But of course, you're always going to improve musically, especially if you've been around for 23 years. But then I think of the individual songs, and I think about which album would I listen to more than the other one. And I'm going to have to go with Weird Al's self-titled. Number 12 moves on.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. Upset. Our first upset.
Very much so.
Maybe it'll be a Cinderella story.
It's a Cinderella story. and when Bob comes back on, well, actually, I was thinking Caddyshack. Bill Murray. It's a Cinderella story. Yeah. Anyway, so Bob, you had a choice. You had a chance to vote, but your internet stinks, man.
I'm back.
You are back.
What am I going to vote on?
Well, actually, there ended up being a tie. John voted for Straight Outta Linwood. Lauren voted for Weird Al Yankovic, and we were going to bring it to you to make to do the tiebreaker. But because you disappeared, I had to do the tiebreaker, and Weird Al's self-titled moved on.
Wow, I would have gone the other way.
Well, I got a feeling it's going to get stomped out by Alpalooza in the next round anyway. So, all right, so your next matchup, the number 7 Poodle Hat versus the number 10 Even Worse. So, just FYI, Chris had a loved Even Worse. But when I did some research on this, I was like, I don't know why I love that album as much as I did, but I remember really loving that album. But here's the tale of the tape: Poodle Hat. That was Weird Al's very first Grammy Award winner for Comedy Album of the Year. And that was in 2003 that it came out, so it was the 2004 Grammys. So, it did not hit platinum, however, or did not hit gold. The songs on it: eBay, Couch Potato, Party at the Leper Colony, and Ode to a Superhero, which is one of my personal favorites. Then you've got Even Worse, the number 10 seed. It was his 1988 album. It did go platinum, so more than 1 million albums sold. Of course, you had Fat and Lasagna, and of course, the classic I Think I'm a Clone Now. So, Lauren, we're taking it over to you.
Oh, this is one of those that for me on any given day could go one way or another because they are very different albums. But today, on this day, I feel like I need to go Poodle Hat. And I'm going Poodle Hat because I just relatively recently did an episode of this podcast. I was like sometime in, early February. And all about the album Poodle Hat. And just in talking about it at such great length gave me kind of more of an appreciation for what Poodle Hat was. And Poodle Hat also won the Grammy for Best Comedy Album. So it's a Grammy-winning album. And I don't think it gets as much credit as it deserves because it was definitely underserved by its kickoff single, Couch Potato, and the fact that he couldn't do the video for it because Eminem wasn't all about that. The album is better than its lead single because it has Bob on it. Genius in France truly is amazing, and I'm going Poodle Hat because I just prefer Poodle Hat today.
All right. John, come out swinging, my friend.
The track listing on Poodle Hat is one of the best. You've got, like you said, Couch Potato. Hardware Store is way up there for me. Bob is great. eBay is great. Ode to a Superhero is great. It's got, for me, one of the better polkas. It's pulled down a little bit by Trash Day and A Complicated Song. Genius in France is a better song than it gets credit for being. And if I compare that to the track listing on Even Worse, you've got Fat, which is iconic. Good Old Days, which even my wife loves. She thinks that's a great song.
Sidebar with Good Old Days. Have you seen the Weird Al NPR Tiny Desk concert where they do that acoustically?
No.
It was amazing.
No, amazing. I have not. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
It was great. And then he made the interesting choice to play CNR, which leads me to believe that concert happened around the release of Alpocalypse, and he was trying to drum up some marketing for that.
Probably.
But
I digest.
Yeah, no, that was great. Velvet Elvis is a better song than it gets credit for. Twister is a really good pastiche of the Beastie Boys. I Think I'm a Clone Now, which we've talked about, is fun. And another fun song is this song is just 6 words long. I love the original George Harrison song. I've Got My Mind Set on You. That's a great one. I actually think I'm going to be an agent of chaos, and I'm going to choose Even Worse.
Woo!
So it's going to go to a tiebreaker.
Oh, my. All right. So, Bob, we're going to go down to you to make the final decision on this. Lauren said Poodle Hat, she thinks has more iconic songs to it. However, John says Even Worse because of the listing of the songs that are on it are way better. So, Bob, what do you think?
So, I will say that Even Worse is my first album. So what Bad Hair Day is for the Carries, even worse is for me. And it's in my top three albums. So it's even worse and it's not even close. Um, Poodle Hat, while I do enjoy some songs of Poodle Hat, it's at my bottom. It's in my bottom three. So yeah, this is an easy one. Give it to even worse, and let's let Fat go to the next round.
Woo!
All right.
All right. Another lower seed beats the higher seed. I'm shocked. I am absolutely shocked with this. Okay. So now we go to the next. Now we go to the next one. Number 3, Running with Scissors. For number 14, Alpocalypse. I will be honest with you. If it comes to voting, which I don't think it will, because they've kind of made their Alpocalypse not much love known. But Running with Scissors is in one of my top 10 albums. I adore this album, Something Fierce. So that'll also tell you what my favorite Weird Al album is.
Top 10 albums, not of just Weird Al's,
yes,
right?
Just
You're
period.
talking about all time?
Just period. Well, secular albums,
okay.
Because I also
all
partake in the Christian music as well. So, but secular albums, absolutely. So let's talk about this. Let's get this breakdown. So the number 3, Running with Scissors, 1999, platinum selling album. So over 1 million albums sold. It's The Saga Begins. It's all about the Pentiums, Polka Party, and Pretty Fly for a Rabbi. Pretty much all 4 of those are on a greatest hits album in one shape or form. So there is that. But then you go to Alpocalypse, which you kind of already talked about right now, the 14 seeds, 2011. Again, we had, as I misinformed and misspoke a little while ago, not a couple hours ago, but a couple
hours ago.
I know, right? It just feels like it because of the way I'm talking. Anyway, but Craigslist, Whatever You Like, Perform This Way, CNR, Ringtone, and Party in the CIA. All right, so John, what you got?
So I'll start with Alpocalypse. One thing that is kind of throwing me off with this album is there are so many songs on it that are pulling from a style of not the era that the album came out. He's pastiching the Doors. Where's that coming from? He's pastiching the Pixies.
I think you just made up a
word.
Where's
that coming from?
Pastiching?
Pastiching?
I think you just turned a noun into a verb, and I like it. Keep going.
I love it. Whatever. Like, why are there so many songs on this album from music that is not of this era? And, like, so the Pixies were late 80s to the 90s. The Doors were the 70s. This album is, what year did you say?
2011.
2011.
2011. So I'm just as confused where these pastiches are really coming from. Why did he choose now to pastiche the Doors?
You know what? I really want a pastiche, like a cherry one or maybe an apple pastiche. I'm a little hungry.
Yeah. That being said, I really think I really think that Running with Scissors track listing has a lot more behind it. Sure, that same argument can be made for The Saga Begins, because that song, American Pie, was not 1999. It was many years before. But everything else on that is pretty rooted in the time. It has one of the better polkas on the album, versus Polka Face, which I don't really care for too much. So I think I'm gonna have to give it to Running with Scissors, and it's not even close.
Okay, and in all fairness, with The Saga Begins, Phantom Menace came out. The odd part is Phantom Menace came out in May, and I believe this album came out in like March or April. So he was able to get a sneak peek into the episode 1 before anybody else did. So mad props to you, Weird Al, just for that alone. So,
yeah,
Lauren, over to you.
I'm not going to disagree here, but I do need to tell the tale. The story goes that Weird Al actually got a hold of a synopsis of the Phantom Menace. So he didn't see it before other people did. He just got a hold of a synopsis and wrote the song. And his thought behind it was, well, if it's true, if this is good information that I have, then this song is going to be great. But if this is bad information, like if it's not a real synopsis, then oh well, the song will still be fun and people will laugh because of how wrong it is.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
So that's
I love the song even more now.
Right? So yeah, I'm gonna basically, I agree with everything that John has said there. I do enjoy CNR off of Alpocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Mostly, not even so much because I appreciate the fact that it's a really solid White Stripes style parody, but I like CNR because I just really love Charles Nelson Riley and
Match Game.
And I love him, and I love that Weird Al kind of picked him to turn into like this outlandish, like he basically turned Charles Nelson Riley into Chuck Norris, right? You know how like we kind of exaggerate Chuck Norris in all those ways. And before the song came out, Weird Al actually reached out to Charles Nelson Riley's family and estate, and they gave permission for the song to happen, but they were afraid that the song was going to be poking too much fun at Charles Nelson Riley's homosexuality. And if they knew Weird Al at all, they would know that that's not the direction he would ever go with that sort of thing. So Weird Al did an amazing job, and Charles Nelson Riley's family and estate appreciated it. But all that being said, Running with Scissors takes this for me, hands down. To go back to an old argument that I made, do I have an Alpocalypse t-shirt? No. Do I have a Running with Scissors t-shirt? Yes. So it's going to win.
I thought you were going to say also no.
Also no, but I do. And I get the Running with Scissors t-shirt that I actually got when we saw him on the Running with Scissors tour the second time in 2000.
Yes, and I'm super jealous of your Running with Scissors, especially with the galactic worldwide dates on the back of it. It's just fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was the first one. That's from 1999. That one, yeah. So Running with Scissors takes this.
Before we move on, I do want to say that there is one song on Alpocalypse that I do think is a bop. And it's because I think the source material for me is a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I love Party in the USA. So Party in the CIA is just really fun for me. But yeah, that doesn't change my decision here.
I love it.
That bit of news just makes me so happy. So happy. In all fairness, I didn't like the song Party in the USA until Pitch Perfect came out, but that's just me. But yes, fantastic. Running with Scissors moves on. Then we come to our final matchup in the first round. That's right, we're still in the first round, folks. We have number 6, Mandatory Fun, versus number 11's Polka Party. So number 6, Mandatory Fun, came out in 2014. It gave Weird Al his second Grammy for Best Comedy Album of the Year. And it has probably one of my favorite songs that he's ever done in word crimes. Because if there's somebody that has committed a ton of word crimes in his lifetime, it is me. Tacky, Foil, and Handy. Needless to say, he liked a lot of one-word song titles on this album. So you go with that, and then you go with Polka Party. And Polka Party was way back in 1986. It is the 11th seed. And then you got Christmas at Ground Zero, which I know is a personal favorite of the Oaks brothers, as well as the classic song Living with a Hernia. And so we went with John last round first. So Lauren, you get the opening argument.
This is tough. This is a really tough one for me. And I'm still like not 100% sure which way I'm going to go. So I'm going to talk for a little bit and see what happens. Because Mandatory Fun is great. If I think Weird Al put Mandatory Fun together kind of knowing that his contractual obligation to put out full-length albums was over and that this may be his final like album proper. So with that in mind, I think he put a lot of thought and care into how this album kind of works and how it was put together and everything about it, and then of course Mission Statement is a perfect song. It's a beautiful pastiche of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, basically just using all corporate mumbo jumbo jargon. It's perfect. It's a perfect song, and there's so much about Mandatory Fun that is fun. It's like you can't not enjoy it. And on the complete flip side of the coin, you have Polka Party, which feels rushed because it was rushed. Was not commercially successful, was a bit of a downer for Al personally at the time. But but there's some great stuff on it. It has Dog Eat Dog, which in my mind is like the spiritual ancestor of Mission Statement. Like the character that is enjoying his job in Dog Eat Dog, right? Later on, moved up the ranks and became this high-ranking corporate official that speaks in nothing but jargon in Mission Statement. So the fact that these two albums are paired up against each other with
it's basically the story of Office Space, right?
Yeah, basically with what in my mind feel like
Office Space,
like sister songs. The only okay, there's a triptych in my head, right? It's Dog Eat Dog, Calling in Sick from Bad Hair Day, and Mission Statement. Like that's one man's story, right? But anyway, I digress.
Right. Absolutely,
I digress. I think, because I Want a New Duck is great. There's some Christmas at Ground Zero is great. The polka on Polka Party is great. It has one of the best endings of a polka that there ever was. I'm gonna keep my baby, keep my baby. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a very hard time. I'm going to go Mandatory Fun because I'm wearing a Mandatory Fun t-shirt right now.
All right.
I had a feeling you were going to do it, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad that you had to choose first because I went into this matchup knowing that whichever way you went, I was going to go the opposite. And so I really like Dog Eat Dog. That song speaks to me. I've had many office jobs, and that is just too perfect. Here's Johnny is great. Christmas at Ground Zero is good. I don't care for Toothless People.
No, that's bad.
The song, I don't care about. I'm indifferent about if people have teeth or not. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Polka Party.
All right, I am shocked. I am shocked. I am actually going to go ahead and send it over to Bob because I will be honest with you. For me, if I'm choosing this, it's Mandatory Fun, and it's not even close. But Bob Oakes, we're going to give you the swing vote. Which album is moving on, sir?
I'm stunned to see this one come to me. I thought this was going to be a easy one for the carries, but I'm happy to break this tie. To be honest, on my rankings, these two are right next to each other. Mandatory Fun and Polka Party are neck and neck, right next to each other. I actually, when I rated them myself, they came up to be a tie. But in this rare instance, instead of the older album taking it, I'm actually going to give it to the newer album. I think Mandatory Fun is just slightly better than Polka Party, and it pains me to say that, but the winner here is Mandatory Fun.
All right.
And I'm perfectly great with that. That's good. I do enjoy Mandatory Fun. Like I said, I knew I was going to go the opposite of my sister either way she went. So that's good.
Okay.
All right. And that is the end of the first round of the Weird Al Albums bracket.
Before we move on to the next round in the Weird Al Albums bracket, let's take a moment and listen to one of the beautiful Weird Al tributes that were sent to us that I was dumb and forgot to put in our New Year's Day episode. So here it is.
Hey everyone, this is David Rosen from the Piecing It Together podcast, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. We always take a look at new movies and then look at them through that lens of inspiration, of what other movies it reminded us of. And this way we end up with a big list of other movies that deal with similar themes and ideas and styles, and you end up with a great little list of recommendations along the way. Every week I have different guests on to help me go through that format, and it's a fun show. You should check it out. But we're not talking about that. We're here to talk about Weird Al. Literally one of my biggest heroes in life. Weird Al has been there as far back as I can remember. I'm a child of the 80s myself, and I grew up on everything Weird Al. I mean, from the first time I heard Fat and Eat It to the UHF movie, everything about Weird Al is just so ingrained in everything that I think when I think pop culture, when I think comedy, when I think music, movies, everything. Even my first concert was Weird Al. I recently looked him up, looked up what the set list was and everything. It was in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania in 1992, the Deep End tour. But, you know, of course, I had been listening to Weird Al for long before that at that point. And yeah, I mean, Weird Al is just, he's the best. And it's funny, like, skipping around to what Weird Al means to me, one of the things I was going to mention is, aside from podcasting, I also am a music composer, and I compose music for films and commercials and jingles and things like that. But also, I had a comedy rap group back in college. Actually, I'm not going to go too deep into detail because some of that stuff is just very, very filthy, which is kind of the opposite of Weird Al, but it was definitely very parody based, and he was a huge, huge influence on a lot of the music that I made with all of those comedy rap groups and all that stuff. If you look me up on the internet, you can find that stuff. I try not to promote it too much, but just know that there's a lot of comedy rap by me out there that's very, very influenced by Weird Al, except for it's very dirty. But moving on to some of my other things that are inspired by Weird Al, I also just his whole thing, you know, just being a goofball, being ridiculous. I mean, growing up, that was just the most refreshing thing. It was just awesome that you could grow up to be like that. And I feel like in a lot of ways I did. During the years that I've had long hair, a lot of people even compared me to him looks-wise, but I never thought that was quite accurate, although I guess I did have curly long hair, and so I guess that makes sense a little bit. But mainly it's the personality. It's just the absolute ridiculousness of everything, looking at life in these ridiculous ways and just kind of goofing about everything. Weird Al is just the man when it comes to that stuff. And I've seen him now live close to a dozen times, I think, and have just followed him the whole time and love him, and he's the best. And I am happy to join this talking about just how awesome Weird Al is.
Wasn't that great, folks?
I was blown away by it, really.
Thank you so much for that beautiful message.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, round 2. Oh, God.
All right. So
just to give everybody an update as to where the bracket stands. Oh, no. We're through the first round. We're now into the second round. We have a matchup of 1 and 8, Bad Hair Day versus In 3D, 4 versus 12, Alapalooza versus Weird Al Yankovic, 2, Dare to Be Stupid versus 10, Even Worse, and 3, Running with Scissors versus 6, Mandatory Fun.
That was gonna be hard.
Take it away, Chris.
All right. So we're going to Bad Hair, the number 1 seed versus the number 8 seed. Bad Hair Day versus N3D. John, my friend, it is over to you, good sir.
I don't think it's any surprise that Bad Hair Day, number 1 album for Weird album for us, as it's the first one that we were introduced to. We've got Amish Paradise, Everything You Know Is Wrong, Alternative Polka, which is that got me into alternative music to begin with. Gump, I Remember Larry, The Night Santa Went Crazy. That track listing is just top notch for us. It really shaped my style of music that I like. If I trace back everything, it comes back to here. Kind of like All Roads Lead to Rome. All songs lead to Bad Hair Day. We talked about In 3D before. Great album, but I'm going to have to give it to Bad Hair Day.
All right. And actually, I forgot to give the tail of the tape because Bad Hair Day was not in the first round. It was the number 1 seed and had a bye. So, but Bad Hair Day, just for y'all out there, it is the number 1 seed. It was released in 1996. It was to date not only Weird Al's first double platinum or 2 million plus selling album, but it's also his only double platinum album. And as John nicely said, you have Amish Paradise, you have Gump, you have The Night That Santa Went Crazy, and you also have Calling in Sick that Lauren was just talking about previously. So thank you, John, for that. Lauren, do you have a retort?
I don't have a retort. I would like a tort. But no, I agree completely. It is it's
good talk.
Yeah, good talk. It's Bad Hair Day for sure. I love In 3D. In 3D has some like magical moments to it that I remember us enjoying as kids. But yeah, Bad Hair Day is gonna take this one.
All right. So with very little fanfare, Bad Hair Day moves on. All right, your next matchup in round 2, Alapalooza versus number 12's Weird Al Yankovic. So it's number 4 Alapalooza versus 12 Weird Al Yankovic. Lauren, you get the first salvo.
Yeah,
it's getting harder now, isn't it?
It is getting a little harder. I feel like I might be an agent of chaos here, because I convinced myself a lot about Weird Al's self-titled debut album, and when I talked about it in round 1, and I have more of a personal connection with his self-titled debut album than I do with Alapalooza. Even though I think Alapalooza is great, part of our history with Weird Al is that our dad got Weird Al's self-titled debut album from the Columbia Record Club and had the cassette that once we got into Weird Al got bequeathed unto us to enjoy. So I'm going with Weird Al Yankovic, the album, because I like how raw it is, and I have some nice personal memories with this album. So there you go.
Hey, you know what? And I think tradition and memories and things like that are fully fair game, especially in a bracket like this. So, John, what's your retort for on that?
You guys might have swayed me with that nostalgia talk, because I love me some Frank. I love me some Jurassic Park. But having looked at the track listing again, Bohemian Polka really brings it down. Waffle King is kind of meh. Talk Soup is kind of meh. And I really don't like Achy Breaky Song because Achy Breaky Heart just grinds my gears. Which, I mean, that's what that song's even about. But I love me some Mr. Frump. Let's move on. The self-titled.
Yeah.
Wow. The dream stays alive.
We've got a real Cinderella story going on.
The dream stays alive for number 12. The number 12 seed moves on. Man. All right. I'm excited. Now I got goosebumps here. I thought this was going to be a runaway, and I'm wrong, and I love it. All right. So now the next one. Number 2's Dare to Be Stupid versus number 10's Even Worse. Before I send it over to John, Dare to Be Stupid. is our number 2 seed. So we have not yet talked about it. It is his 1985 album. This was his third album in 3 years that he did. He actually released 4 albums in 4 years from 1983 to 1986. That is insane if you're any musician, just FYI, let alone a parody musician. Anyway, but Dare to Be Stupid was a platinum album. It was his third album to go gold or better. It has classics like a Surgeon, One More Minute. Of course, my favorite Weird Al song, Dare to Be Stupid, and then Hooked on Polkas. So, John, talk to me.
All right. So, like you said, it has the best Devo song ever written, Dare to Be Stupid. Like a Surgeon starts off the album very strong. I Want a New Duck. Love it. There's so many puns in that song. It's not even funny. You got Yoda, where he really that's where he truly started to summarize movies, right? Other than theme from Rocky 13, but that's not really a movie synopsis where Yoda is. Yeah, I think between these two, it's got to go to Dare to Be Stupid.
All right, Lauren.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Dare to Be Stupid is one of the Weird albums that I can listen to from beginning to end and not feel even the smallest tug, really, to skip anything. If Weird Al's self-titled debut album, which is just a phrase that I enjoy saying because it's a mouthful, but if Weird Al's self-titled debut album was his first album, and if In 3D was his first proper album with, a good production value and things like that, then I would say that Dare to Be Stupid is where he really hit his stride. Because there's so much to it that is perfect, that has become classic without really, leaning into a parody here and there. Yes, there's great parody stuff, obviously, on Dare to Be Stupid, but the standout tracks on the album are originals. And I think it kind of took what he was doing on his self-titled debut album and brought it up to another level, because there's some great originals on his first album, but he did them better on Dare to Be Stupid. So it's definitely Dare to Be Stupid, because I think it's a pretty perfect album.
All right, so apologies to Bob Oakes. Even Worse goes down. Number 2, Dare to Be Stupid moves on. All right, hey, this is tough stuff. I mean, you're going to be hitting people's emotion and their heartstrings with this. All right, so the final matchup in round 2, number 3, Running with Scissors versus number 6, Mandatory Fun. I do not envy either of or any of y'all with this decision. So let's see, Lauren, this goes to you.
Of course it does. This is tough. This is very difficult. This is a very hard decision to have to make. I did talk Mandatory Fun up pretty hard last round. That's why I went with it. I am wearing a Mandatory Fun t-shirt right now, but I feel like Running with Scissors is just better. It's a bright album. If you could hear colors, if you could hear colors,
if you could smell the color 9.
Yes, if you could smell the color 9, Running with Scissors would be like yellows and oranges, and not because it's so bright. It opens with The Saga Begins, but then you get My Baby's in Love with Eddie Vedder, which has such a great accordion riff to it. It's magical. It's an absolutely magical song. Pretty Fly for a Rabbi. The whole album has some wonderful Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So when I think about stacking Weird albums of this ilk against one another, one thing I have to do in my brain is go with, what's that final track? The track that he puts on the album for the fans. The one that's just ridiculous. And these two albums both have outstanding final tracks. So in my mind now I'm arguing with myself. It's like which one is better though? Is Albuquerque better or is Mission Statement better? And that's what's going to win this argument in my head, because
Mission Statement isn't the last track
of Mandatory Fun.
Right.
Oh, what's the last track on Mandatory Fun? The Jackson Park Express.
Jackson Park Express.
Okay, then you know what? You're right. So yeah, Running with Scissors is going to take it because Albuquerque is better than Jackson Park Express.
Wow. Okay. All right. Wow. I was biting my nails on that one. I was biting my nails on it. I'm not going to lie. All right, Sean.
My final decision is going to be the same as yours, but for a little bit different of a reason. A song that neither one of us has spoken about yet. Your horoscope for today is the perfect ska song. Like I've listened to ska. He nails ska. And at the same time he pokes fun at Zodiac. It's just like, sure, every time you listen to it the horoscope is the same. I get it. But like, I'm not listening to it to get my horoscope. It's just a really great song. Like man, your horoscope, all about the Pentiums, another great one. Drew, our Uncle Drew is in that music video.
Yes.
How do we?
Wait,
he's not really our uncle.
Okay.
He's not really our uncle.
No.
I just like to say my Uncle Drew and my Aunt Mariah. But yeah, no. Yeah, Running with Scissors is going to take it over Mandatory Fun for me. It's just too ingrained in my brain. It's like I grew up on Running with Scissors. So, yeah, it's Running with Scissors.
All right. So it does not come down to the judge, the jury, and executioner with Bob on this one. And we've got our final four. All right. So, John, you want to run the final four down?
Sure. We have our number 1, Bad Hair Day, versus our Cinderella Story, number 12, Weird Al Yankovic, self-titled debut album. We have number 2, Dare to Be Stupid, against number 3, Running with Scissors. So basically,
it's gone chalk.
There's only one upset.
It's gone really, chalk. Yeah. Alpalooza failed its mission, but everybody else is running chalk according to your bracket. Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. So we are not going to go to the Cinderella Story. We're actually going to start off on the bottom side of the bracket, if that's okay with y'all. And John, we're going to start with you. That's great. It's going to be Dare to Be Stupid, number 2, versus number 3, Running with Scissors. Again, do not envy your choice one bit.
This one, all right, they're both great albums, as shown by the fact that they're ranked number 2 and number 3. But I think one album speaks to me more, and it's just based on nostalgia, and this also helped shape my musical tastes. And I'm going to have to go with Running with Scissors on this one.
Ooh. All right. So Lauren Carey, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with. This is hard, but I'm gonna go Dare to Be Stupid, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because for the longest time, if somebody were to ask me, "What's your favorite Weird Al song?" for the longest time, I would have said "One More Minute." Because I think that song is hilarious. I love that song in concerts when he would walk out into the audience and kind of like pick people to sing One More Minute to, like a loungy, croony singer kind of guy. So Dare to Be Stupid has that going for me, because much like Running with Scissors kind of shaped John's musical tastes and sensibilities, Dare to Be Stupid has that nostalgia factor for me, in that One More Minute is way up there on my like personal favorite Weird Al songs. So there we have it. We need a tiebreaker, I guess.
All right, Bob, the judge comes down to you, sir. Is it Dare to Be Stupid, or is it Running with Scissors?
Boy, this is tough, because I have these two as my number 1 and my number 2 album, no joke. And do you realize that you have pitted in this round the Saga Begins versus Yoda? Do you realize you have Star Wars versus Star Wars in this round?
Yeah. Yes.
So I have to go with what I.
It had to happen.
So I have to go with what I put down before we started. I did my own rankings. And Dare to Be Stupid over Running with Scissors by a point. Dare to Be Stupid takes the round.
Wow. All right. Yeah, okay. I'm shocked and awed at the same time.
Just curious, what's your reasoning behind that? What was the kicker behind that?
I basically took song by song and gave them a point value and based it in solely whatever it added up to. I only did it on a 3-point basis, 1, 2, 3, but a 4th point for favorite songs for this is the best song. And Dare to Be Stupid took it by a point. It's 28 points to 27 points. Just it took it by 1 point, and there's more songs than Dare to Be Stupid I'm going to listen to over and over. Not to say that I don't like Running with Scissors, because it is my number 2 album, but just barely Dare to Be Stupid.
All right.
I think that's impressive, though, because Dare to Be Stupid has 11 songs and Running with Scissors has 12. And so for Dare to Be Stupid to still come out 1 point ahead, okay, Dare to Be Stupid it is.
All right.
Yay.
Man. All right. So now we're going into we're going into Bad Hair Day against the Cinderella Story, Weird Al Yankovic self-titled release. I think I said that correctly. Lauren, you get the first argument.
As much as I love a good Cinderella story, I really, really do. But I also have to be honest with myself and with the world in that these Bad Hair Day and Weird Al's self-titled debut album were our first 2 Weird albums. So these 2 are the 2 albums that introduced us to Weird Al. We had Bad Hair Day, kind of came upon that, when, Amish Paradise and things like that were, popular. But it's interesting too, right? These are kind of bookend sort of albums. Weird Al's self-titled debut album was his first album, and Bad Hair Day was the last album with the glasses and the mustache. So these are the beginning and the end of the mustache glasses period of Weird Al Yankovic's career. And a lot happened between Weird Al's self-titled debut album and Bad Hair Day. But I have to go for Bad Hair Day because as charming and raw and real Weird Al's self-titled debut album is, I think Bad Hair Day is better. Because there's fewer. I will skip some things on Weird Al's self-titled debut album. Like I don't care for Buckingham Blues. More so now than before because it didn't really hold up, in light of Princess.
I was gonna say that. I don't think there's any song in Weird Al's category that has aged as poorly as Buckingham Blues.
Yeah, in light of Princess Diana's, death,
yes,
and whatnot. But even that being said, it was never a favorite of mine anyway. But I mean, Checks in the Mail, Happy Birthday is great. I'll Be Mellow When I'm Dead is like a theme song of mine. Like I hear that song and I was like, you know what? I will be mellow when I'm dead. I'm not calming down just yet. Like just let me go. But Bad Hair Day is going to take it because it's a great album from start to finish and the flow of it is really good. It starts on a high, it ends on a high, and there's not really the only really low point on Bad Hair Day for me is Syndicated Incorporated. But
another song about TV.
Yeah, but other than that, it's pretty perfect. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Bad Hair Day, even though I feel like kudos to Weird Al's self-titled debut album for making it this far.
I will agree with you 100%. Yeah, Bad Hair Day is going to take it from me. Yeah, like I said, no song has aged as poorly as Buckingham Blues has. Does anybody really say the check's in the mail anymore? Nope. So that's, you have to kind of look at it at the time. Like, yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be Bad Hair Day, just from even more nostalgia.
All right.
Like Amish Paradise is going to just pull it ahead.
Yep.
All right.
There's nothing like the experience of seeing Amish Paradise live, when everybody does the swaying. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's wonderful. Anyway, final round.
I got a feeling that Bad Hair Day is like the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It's just, I mean, it was like him to the next level. And it's just because if you ask anybody, I think other than except for maybe Fat, probably Amish Paradise is probably his most well-known song to non-super Weird Al fans. That's my opinion. I mean, take it for what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. So to that point, my wife and I were talking to my sister-in-law on FaceTime this morning, and we were talking about the podcast, and her family didn't really listen to Weird Al all that much, but the one song that my sister-in-law knew was Amish Paradise. And so to your point, absolutely, that song is known by more non-Weird Al fans than any other Weird Al song.
Yep.
All right. Well, we have our matchup. We have the finals. John, why don't you tell us what it is?
We've got the 1 versus the 2, Bad Hair Day versus Dare to Be Stupid. Oh, man.
It's Bad Hair Day versus Dare to Be Stupid. All right. I have a coin to see who gets the first it up. And Lauren, you get the opening salvo for Bad Hair Day versus Dare to Be Stupid.
I do need to start this off by saying that, gosh, we really took the long way to get to a final matchup between number 1 and number 2, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hard. This is really difficult. Because let's see. We've talked a lot about Bad Hair Day because that was our first one. But Dare to Be Stupid is great. It has Like a Surgeon, which is hilarious. And has the distinction of being the one parody song that Weird Al actually allowed somebody else to put a title to, right? Dare to Be Stupid is brilliant. I Want a New Duck is great. And I'll have a small confession to make about that song when John and I finally get to that episode on our show, because I'm stupid.
That is so
you
not
dare
true.
To be stupid.
That is so not true, by the way.
One More Minute, like I said, is one of my favorites. Yoda is absolutely brilliant. Then Dare to Be Stupid dips a little bit, right? George of the Jungle, why is that there? I don't know. Slime Creatures from Outer Space, I don't really love. I don't care for Girls Just Want to Have Lunch. Because girls want more than that. We want breakfast and dinner and snacks as well. This Is the Life. I like the piano riff on that. I think it's a good song. And then Cable TV, It's another song about TV. So I guess what's coming down to it in my brain is side 1 of Dare to Be Stupid. If you're thinking about it like on an actual album or a cassette or whatever, side 1 is flawless. Like a Surgeon, Dare to Be Stupid, I Want a New Duck, One More Minute, Yoda, flawless. Side 2 doesn't hold up against side 1 of Dare to Be Stupid. So
you're flipping it over, rewinding it back to the first side is what you're telling us.
I mean, yes. I think I would listen to side 1 of Dare to Be Stupid as an EP, so like one of those little tiny albums, all day. If that's all it was, it would be beyond reproach. But as an album, I don't think the second half of it is as good as the first half of it. And that's not the same for Bad Hair Day. I think Bad Hair Day does have places where it dips, but it comes back up. And I think Bad Hair Day is also better in that the polka comes in the middle of the album. So like you get stuff, then the polka breaks it up, then you get more stuff, and then you end with The Night Santa Went Crazy. Whereas Dare to Be Stupid, the polka's at the end. Like, it's just kind of thrown there at the end of the album. So, I'm taking a long way to say what I was probably already going to say anyway, but I'm trying to put some reasoning around it for the people. I'm going with Bad Hair Day.
I'm going to go off of one of the points that you just made, in that the polka is the last track on Dare to Be Stupid. Weird Al typically saves the last track for that off-the-wall subject matter song. There's 2 albums where he puts the polka as the last track. Dare to Be Stupid and Alapalooza. Bohemian Polka on Alapalooza, not that good. Hooked on Polkas is pretty good, but it's not The Night Santa Went Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Nature Trail All Hell. It's not Mr. Frump in the Iron Lung. It's not Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota. It's not that classic off the wall Weird Al track that you are when you want to listen to a Weird album, you expect to hear at the end that off the wall, just crazy Albuquerque, Jackson Park Express,
Genius in France,
like Hooked on Polkas. So yeah, I've got to give it to Bad Hair Day based on that.
All right. So after a slugfest, after some surprises, thank you very much, Weird Al's self-titled debut album. And after a lot of fantastic discussion, ladies and gentlemen, we have your Bearded Al podcast greatest Weird album of all time, Bad Hair Day. Let's give it up. All right.
Yeah, number 1 seed takes it all.
Yes.
As
expected.
Like I said, sometimes that 800-pound gorilla will take it over every single time. And you know what? It's in all fairness, the final 4, except for maybe the exception of Weird Al Yankovic's self-titled debut album, and say that 3 times fast, I think any of the 3 really and truly could have taken the top spot, but I think the right one made it. I think the right one made it. In all fairness, as much as I love Running with Scissors, I think you couldn't go wrong with Bad Hair Day for sure.
For sure. Oh, this has been wonderful. This has been great. I had so much fun with everybody. It's a long and winding road to get to where we were, but this was a pretty good, completely subjective Weird Al album polka bracket time thing that we just had here.
March Weirdness.
Get it right.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Listen here, all you commenters. If you disagree with any choice that we've made here, why don't you take the time and email us your full brackets, top to bottom, rank everything. Just show me your brackets. I want to see them.
That's right. And I guess this is his version of Mardi Gras. Show him your brackets.
Show him your brackets. Whoa. Hey, and depending on what you want to show him, remember, John likes big cans.
And he cannot lie. He likes his good crowlers.
Yeah.
All right, people. From all of us here at the extended Beard Al family, for Bob, who was a wonderful judge, jury, and executioner for all of this, for Chris, who ran this bracket like a champ, and for me, I'm still Lauren. And John, are you still John?
I'm still John.
All right, so we're going to wrap up this album bracket episode and just say goodbye, people. We'll come at you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.